number 2 with my potato internet. So, as I was trying to do, let me see. All right, so we're going to watch this here real quick because, yeah. All right, this was my first part of the stream. We're going to see when I got my rewards. No. I'll go ahead and just mute this. All right. So we'll start it here. All right. So I ended up getting 2 Debaracas right off the bat. You know, actually, right off the bat. Look, I literally just copied myself. Oh, this is going to be juicy. Oh, come on. We didn't get any that time. Gosh, so many followers. All right. I'll take it. Yo, let's go. Oh my goodness. Oh, wait, I was about to say 2 more. Oh my gosh. Like how many Debareckas did I? All right, so I ended up getting. Oh, they fumbled. I ended up getting was like six Deborah accessories. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I did a whole bunch of light stones here as well, which I didn't really get anything special. Okay, anyway, now that I showed that, because that was the first part of the stream, and my internet just went kaput. So that's always great. I just need to get in the habit of like literally restarting my internet before I even stream, which is so annoying. I don't know. So stupid. Okay. Let's see. All right, I'll take that out. I think. Okay, so let me go ahead and adjust my noise. So I'm gonna put this at 7. I'm gonna put this also at 7, and then we're gonna go ahead and play the podcast. So I'm gonna play the Old Mood podcast, the most recent one. I'm a little bit behind. Just been really busy here recently. Let's see.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Old Moon Podcast.
Let me see how the volume sounds.
75. It's been a while.
77.
77.
77.
Okay. Just cut it.
I wrote it at the
See
top of my
how the volume
notes.
sounds.
Note will say, yeah, I don't read anything you put in there. The.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
The Old Moon Podcast, episode 77. I'm your host, Blue Squadron, joined as always by Jay.
Hi, my name is Gyfin, VT. I do a lot of endgame content such as Olins, the dungeons, bot splits. My static is currently progressing on to post Prince on hard mode. We almost got him down. I think our closest was like a couple 5% pulls, but hopefully we'll get him down on Wednesday. And you can find us live over at twitch.tv/JyfinVT before the T.
Right on. And my boy Blonde, who is literally never live and doesn't do any work for anything. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Blonde Bear. You can catch me at twitch.tv/Blonde Bear, where I sometimes stream for 1 or 2 hours a day, where I grind a spot and chill and chat. And I also am in Jaykun's group where we're doing hard mode to pose Crown Prince, and he's really hard, but we've almost got it. I'm very excited.
I like Blonde Bear.
Hard.
He's so chill.
To pose
Oh,
Crown
the
Prince
Prince.
hard
Oh, the
mode
Prince.
is
Right.
really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's very hard. Yeah.
It's very, very difficult.
Yeah, I watched Cadmium
Yeah.
Sheep doing it last night. That was pretty cool. That was
It's fun
pretty
though.
cool.
It's fun. It's a
Where they at? Where they at? There they are.
You wouldn't be able to, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
All right, so we have a lot to talk about because we have not met since right before the Calpheon Ball.
It's been a minute.
And now we've seen kind of what they talked about at the ball and then what has happened since the ball. So we're going to talk about that, how the Black Desert population has been doing a little bit. It's
been doing better.
The game and where we think the game is kind of moving towards at this point. I'm going to start with Blonde. Blonde, what was the most exciting thing you heard about at the ball? And then the most exciting thing
Dragon.
we've gotten since?
Dragon. Well, we haven't got the dragon yet.
The most exciting thing in the ball was man, that's tough. It's kind of a toss up between dungeon number 4 and the new region. I'm probably gonna go with the new region. I think that
Give me free
probably
dragon.
One of the coolest announcements. Okay, never mind. I mean the dungeon. Oh man, I think the dungeon's gonna be so cool. I've been waiting for the 4th dungeon forever. I'm so excited. I love doing the dungeons. I didn't do them for a few months, but I just started doing them with my boss splits group. It just kind of worked out like that, and we're.
Are you cheating on me with your...
Also, so I said this at my initial stream, but since my internet's potato mode and I got cut off, I'm going to be doing 1 hour here at Underground Gyfin while listening to the Old Moon podcast. I'm not going to use Agris, even though I have a crap ton of Agris. I'm just going to use a level 2 loot scroll, and I want to kind of see where... Oh, they're going for it. Fourth and fifth. Can they get it? Oh, he got it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Going down the field. But, yeah, we're going to see what I can do with the 6-session Zerker, level 2 loot scroll, no Agris, full buffs. We'll see how much trash I can pull. I feel like this class should be pretty good. Let's see, one for Underground Gyfin. Okay, so let me get 4 of these, and let me go ahead and sell all my Debarekas. Look at that. Look at that. Juicy, juicy, juicy. I have 4 costumes saved up, by the way, too. Actually, 5. Be 5. So, getting some cron stones to be able to tap here soon. So that's exciting. All right. So, do I have everything now? 4 of those. Let me go ahead and pop this. Wait. Wait. Is that mine? That's not mine, is it? No. Villa scroll. Okay. All right. Looks like we're good on that front. Yo, what up, Jay? How much do you normally pull from this spot? I usually pull like 22K. I haven't been here in a while though. But when I was with Awakening Dosa, I was pulling like 22K. Striker, I think I was getting like 24K. I think. Wizard, I was getting kind of the same amount. So I'd say like 22, 23K trash. So like anywhere from like 800 to like 1 billion, give or take. I don't know. We're going to see what Succession Zerker can do this hour. I'm going to put the podcast on.
New dungeon crew? You know how much I love to do the dungeon.
Your attendance has been very lacking lately, Blue.
You know how
so-
much
Let's
I love to do the
see.
dungeon. It's ridiculous,
Oh,
Juan, that you would not include me.
Oh, so true. I do know how much you love doing the
Can't
dungeon,
believe it.
especially when
Can't
you get a
believe it.
prior duo from it, and then you say, "Oh, we have to do a second one because you got lucky." That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
I hate
No,
it.
I am excited for the 4th dungeon. They also announced in combination with that there also is going to be grind spots in these dungeons. They're going to make dynamic grind spots so you can go in and clear with your friends, and I think that's so cool to use in underutilized space that maybe you did it during the launch, maybe you did the quest line. You don't really have to anymore nowadays, but I think that's honestly really cool. And the 4th dungeon, I'm really excited for. We've made a lot of gear gaps. I think we're like literally 50 gear score plus above what the highest rec was for the current dungeons. And like I did them this week with Jay, and I mean we did it with our eyes closed. It was kind of sad. So
Get the mechanics
I'm
started here
excited.
first.
The 4th dungeon is one of the bigger things.
All
Jay's gonna
right,
talk
looks
about my
like
second
it
favorite thing, though.
killed it.
All right,
Yeah.
Jay, what was your
I was thinking
favorite
about
thing
taking a
you
6
heard
Zerker
at
down
the
here also, but I need to learn
dungeon?
more
Party, you got the
skills.
ball and
Yeah,
you
so
did
we'll
the
see what
dungeon.
we can
Wait,
get.
wait, you said what's the coolest thing that's
And
come
what's
out
the
so
coolest thing
far?
that's come out so far? Yeah.
Let's
I gotta say
see.
that. Probably the life skill stuff. A friend of mine told me like 6+
You're
months
not
ago. He
even
told
a
me
That's
life
I don't.
skiller.
I'm not. But I have a
Turn
lot of
that
friends who are life
on.
skillers. And
Oh, come on, come on.
Like 6+ months ago, he said based on the banner that they use.
All
for
right,
the
who am I
content
killing
wall, that it's
first?
gonna be a life
This
skill
guy over here.
update kind of thing. And I was like, no shot. There's no way. And he totally predicted. I was like, no way. That was Jordan TV, by the way.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, I think it's gonna be life skill based, and I was like, okay, cool. So then here it went, and I was like, okay,
Okay,
I know it's
killed that
not
pretty quickly.
perfect, but it's something. The increased mastery, the new accessories, we're pushing it all into the next stage. So then, hopefully more gets done. But yeah, listen, that's cool. I think that's cool. That's come out right now, right? Like the
Good
accessories or
gosh, I
whatever,
killed
and
that quick.
We got the new Manos
Wow.
channel, that stuff, and yeah, cool stuff. I like that.
I feel like Succession
Yeah,
Zerker is going to
now,
be kind of
Jay,
insane here.
Before Blonde so
Yes.
rudely interrupted you, go ahead.
My bad.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm really, really excited for the brand new region, mostly because they
Like, look at
announced this
that.
is like kind of like the finale chapter of the first 10 years of BDO, and that Caphras, right, the immortal alchemist. We're actually gonna fight him. He's the final boss. That's the big baddie. That's him. We've been shoving his stones, in our gear and our asses for the past decade. So yeah, we're here. We made it, and I think they only revealed like 4.
Honestly,
There was gonna be 5
Succession
zones.
Zerker is so easy to
Every zone
learn.
looked really, really cool, right? Like the domain of Enslar with like the Valkyries, the Hashishin area with I think it was the gates to Al Yaeli or something like that.
Butcher.
Jordine's castle and
Hit him with the flex. Yeah, buddy.
Caphras' domain.
What up,
I
real?
don't know like the 5th one, but hopefully it looks really cool. And I'm like wondering if Caphras
How much
is
AB do you have?
the final boss, like
A good amount.
what's next? Like I'm like, who's gonna be the next antagonist?
Dude, look at
'Cause I
that,
think
dude. They are
it's
just,
Elezra, right?
they
I
are
think
just
we're fighting Elezra for the
dying
final
so
boss
quickly. I love it.
Norzeki.
This is
Elezra
satisfying.
the final
She was
dungeon,
I feel like this is like a
and
perfect
first
spot
we're gonna
for
fight all
Succession
Ant-Man out
Zerker.
in the new
Like, look at
She'll
that.
be our new antagonist,
Oh
so
my
it's
gosh. I'm about to make
yeah,
like
so-
30K.
It's literally
It was-
Elezra.
I
know.
It's
Alright, what's going on?
Caphras, and then above
What am I doing?
Caphras
No.
is like literally the Sauron.
Wait, Hadum? Maybe
or
we
not
fight
Sauron.
Hadum or something like that.
You guys are on such
Yeah,
coke.
Hadum's like literally
Yeah,
next one, like,
322.
nothing else. It's Hadum, then Caphras, and Elezra's like kind of on the side there.
No, you
Oh,
guys are on
goodness.
coke. This entire dungeon
Don't-
was to like.
Don't judge me with my
defeat
movement. I'm still learning this
Elezra.
class.
The whole thing was
Yeah,
to defeat
right.
Elezra, And then the 4th level of the dungeon isn't fighting Alezra.
Oh, we don't know that.
Look at
I
that.
don't know, man. The way they made it sound, it didn't look like we were going to be fighting Alezra.
We're about to make some
We're
crazy money.
fighting some sort of Dark Knight.
Yeah, some like other
boss.
thing. All right,
Listen,
we're
they said
still
that
not
the
fighting
dungeon
Alezra.
is going to be the finale of Alezra's story. Like this is the
Gosh,
last
I'm so
big fight,
focused, I
and
can't
then
even
the
listen to the
final region is
podcast
gonna
right
be the
now.
finale to her story, where there's like a, I guess a
Maybe that's the
an
fifth
ending
area.
quest line with her stuff, the fifth
We
area.
don't
And
even know
then-
what her story is, though. That's the problem with this crazy psycho bitch. Like, pardon my French, but not really. Like, we don't, like, what is she doing? She just shows up, she puts her hands on balls all the time. Either she's putting her hand on Zerker, or she's
Yeah, I do feel like
she
BDO's story
explodes, she
is
tries to shank us in the
lackluster.
back. We have no idea what this woman is
It's kinda
doing,
boring.
why she's here, but we know she's literally behind everything. Every time I get to it at the end of one, like a Succession quest line,
her.
it's like, oh, Alezra again? No way. Like, we have no idea. What is this woman?
The last boss is
Okay,
Jay.
Alezra is our characters as we start BDO have amnesia, right? Because we get implanted with Black Spirit and we get amnesia because we were the adventurers that helped her get into the history of ruins to unlock the Black
Oh, I'm not even
Spirit
doing my
and
100% buff.
And then one rogue Black Spirit went into us and she got
Bro, what am I
mad and
doing with
killed us or
myself?
whatever right before he went and found her body, resurrected us. We have amnesia. The Black Spirit that's with us has amnesia. So she was with
I'm
us
griefing
in
myself, dude.
our Succession and Awakening quest line.
What is going
We used
on?
the memory or whatever of her to recall our past memories, to learn those like skill sets that our characters have, right? She was because just as much as like we don't know her, we technically don't know our own characters' selves prior to us starting the storyline, right? So for all we know, we were a bad guy along with her the whole time.
Oh, goodness.
But like, what are her intentions and what does she do? I think that's going to be finalized in like the new stuff, right? Have you done any of the new revamp quest lines from like
I have not.
Gyfin and
Nope.
like all that stuff? Like, have you done any of those new revamped lines?
I have not.
Okay.
I did the Jordine
not.
saga
recommend
on
it.
my. I've done the Jordine saga.
Where's the
And I'm gonna
butcher?
tell you right now, I did it on my Iron Man.
Butcher.
It was actually very difficult, but that was because again, I couldn't use any of the Naru gear or anything they were giving me. But like the ending was like super omega.
Gosh, dude, I killed the butcher so
fast.
fast.
Why we were there is again.
Oh
the
my
problem
gosh,
with the
dude.
quest line is there's so
I'm
much
loving
yapping
this right now
that,
with
like,
Zerker
no one is gonna
down
sit
here.
there and read all that dialogue. It's just not going to happen. Okay, and then like if you just sit there, no one's gonna sit there and listen to the voice actor too. If you sit there and have them talk for like 40 minutes at a time, they're just gonna speed through it. It is what it is.
I don't know what else you want. I don't know what this character is. Gives you a
No.
40-minute cutscene that explains it, and you. I don't want to listen to
40-minute cutscene.
Okay, I'm
There's
kinda
the problem.
confused.
40-minute
I'm
cutscene.
confused.
It was a lot, and the funny thing is, Jay, we're not even exaggerating. The final Calpheon like quest or whatever that you have to go through to fight like 8 bosses. There's like cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. You don't really know what's going on, but it looks really epic, pretty cool. But like, you know, and then you finally it ends and you're like, okay, that's kind of interesting. But like again, you're just really there's no major plot hook in the Black Desert storyline. And
Yeah, Jay, I think you should definitely try Succession Zerker. It's so easy.
You kind of just
I think that's
stumble.
fair.
You stumble into the world, and you're like you're confused as to what's going on, and then by the end of the quest line, you're still confused as to what is going on or why you're in the world.
Here, I'll
There's
put
no,
my,
like, alliance versus
I'll
horde
put this on so you can
situation.
kinda see.
There's no, like, you spawn in and there's some
I mean,
Final
it's
Fantasy
super
epic
straightforward and
reason that you
easy
have
to
go
use this
kill these
class for the most part.
or triumph against your foes. It's literally just you're just stumbling.
This is
through,
literally all it is.
meeting people and like talking to various NPCs. It just doesn't make much sense. The only storyline that we have that really makes any sense at all is Land of the Morning Light, and the only reason that's even marginally better than the rest of them is because it actually makes congruent sense. Like, okay, yeah, based on like the shorter cutscenes here, there's like little things going on in each town, right? There's little things going on in each city, and you have to go.
I'm
solve
like
each of the
my
problems each city
100%
has.
is
And then there's
coming up
overarching
so
storyline
fast. Like
going
I'm
on,
forgetting to hit
with
it.
all of it. Okay, it kind of makes sense, right? And you're a little bit gripped towards the end of the first quest line, but I wasn't gripped enough that I was like, okay, yeah, I'm super excited about the next one necessarily. I mean, it was the Land of the Morning Light was at least a
I need to,
plausible
like,
storyline.
somehow
The
move
rest
this
of the
thing.
game, and they reworked the Jordine saga. And again, the end, pretty badass and cool. But again, you have no reason why you're here. Like even the like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna ask, Blonde. You're one of the most educated on terms of overall, like BDO lore in the entire game. You've been playing the game for probably
Sometimes.
8 years now, right? In your opinion, why is your character here?
Okay, so our adventurer, as I was saying, worked with Alezra on some unknown plan that we don't know
Unknown.
yet to
Yeah, we have no idea.
obtain the
Uh-huh.
power of the black spirits. And at
Yep.
the last second in our storyline, which is the beginning of our storyline, she betrays us and knocks us out. We are revived by that black spirit. So I do agree. I do agree on your merit that there is no hook and not like there's nothing cool about a mysterious character that you end
Another
up not
butcher?
finding out
What
about
the heck?
until the end of
What's
their
my drop
storyline
rate?
when they're like,
207?
oh, hey, this is all the crazy stuff they've done, and actually they're not a villain, they're a hero, or this or that.
This grind looks smooth. I'm telling you, dude. It's. I thought Succession Zerker would probably feel pretty good here because the mob density is like so so close.
And so I think it is just difficult for them to be like, all right, here's one big baddie.
And like it's a lot of like back attacks too.
Big baddie, right? We have
Well, it's sure. Oh,
Saga, which is pretty interesting. We have Alezra and her 5 Rings crew in Medaya who tried to bring back the moon of darkness or whatever to have the whatever the freaking thing happened in Medaya to basically get the super Sork book, right?
No one cares.
We've also got Kaffers, the immortal alchemist, who is working with Hadum to bring him into our realm, which the elves came from their literal elf realm into our world to
drop
like
this off.
escape from Hadum because he was gaining too much power. Right, and then we have Marnie, who's also just like this. He has a time traveling teleporter, pulling people from the American Wild Wild West ability. Right, I agree that there's no big main hook, and they've revamped a lot of storylines to make that nice. And each region has their own little parcel of stuff, and there isn't anything overarchingly connecting these things. I get that. But there is tons of little sprinkles of like Hadum's influence in the Elvia realm is something that's kind of put throughout all of the Balano Serendia region, right? Into now the Calpheon region, which we then have the Star's End spot, which is where Hadum was going to be summoned into our world for like the second or third time from the Star's End giant meteor thing where he was going to come in. So there's a lot. It's just there's a lot. It's a very rich world.
Butcher's up.
It's just it's all it's not like a movie where they're directing it in front of you easily and plainly. You're just a person living in the world and things are happening around you. And unless you become a historian, you're not going to figure it out, which I agree is a bad way to tell the story for your common person.
That's actually not true.
I think they're going to be tying it up.
You're the main character of the story. That's not true. You're not just like things are happening around you and all this shit's going on. That would be cooler in my opinion. That's how World of Warcraft is.
Have you ever seen the movie Memento?
That's how WoW is.
The movie Memento?
No.
Right, but okay, hold on.
Yeah, they are going hardcore right now.
No. My point is, you have situations
I like it.
in World of Warcraft where like this is like literally an insane scene, and like this is after defeating Arthas or whatever the fall of the Lich King ending. Like, let's just listen to this for like 2 seconds.
Something from 20 years ago. What about the last 20 years of garbage storyline
today? What are we talking about? Listen to this.
I agree. Hold on. The World of Warcraft Lich King expansion and all of Warcraft 1, 2, and 3 was built on the amazing storylines that these people built.
Yeah, that's my point.
Right? Okay, but that was 20 plus years ago from people that actually had passion versus now the World of Warcraft storyline over the last 20 plus years has sucked more than like anything. It's terrible.
Okay,
last like 10 to 15 years, of World of Warcraft is garbage. It's like the worst because when they create world-ending villains after world-ending villain after world-ending villain, it's boring. Nobody like cares or likes the WoW story anymore.
Just listen to this.
Listen, I love Lich King, okay?
Just.
Is it over? At long last. No king rules forever, my son. I see. Only darkness before me.
Back attack. Critical back attack.
I bet I just gripped the entire Black Desert community more on a story in about 15 seconds than the entire Black Desert Online garbanzo 10,000 quest story could possibly imagine. Okay,
you're comparing the best World of Warcraft expansion and story accumulation to like an average regular other thing. You can't compare.
No context.
It's like comparing.
Yes, I can.
It's like comparing like Endgame to like any current Marvel movie because they're all garbage, but Endgame was good.
That's not true at all.
It's
not true at all. The Marvel movies were good too. That's the problem. Is that the BDO's entire storyline is terrible.
What's the last good Marvel movie you watched?
I don't know. Like,
did you see Kraven the Hunter?
No. The God, I'm blanking on the magician. What's his name?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange's movies are
Yo, what up, Grant?
are amazing. I loved all the.
Who's
Spider-Man
Blue
movies.
Squadron
Amazing.
debating with here?
All the
Oh,
Spider-Man
he's
movies.
debating with Blue. I mean,
Yeah, see,
not Blue.
all the Iron Man
He's
movies.
debating with
You didn't
Blonde
see
Bear.
Craven? Did you see the other Venom movie?
Oh,
Did you see
Venom.
the
I
other
actually
Ant-Man?
love the Venom movies. Love the
Listen,
Venom movies.
Venom movies were fun to watch, but they weren't very good.
They're
Did you
debating
watch the
lore right
Ant-Man
now.
Movie?
Yeah, I like that too.
Okay, that movie was also garbage. I'm sorry to tell you, that was
movie
garbage.
was
okay?
great. I like that movie. Maybe it's the only one I didn't watch.
I'm-
But like, I like both the Ant-Man movies.
Listen, I'm just saying that you're comparing like the best of the best to like
Okay,
BDO's
no,
like
no.
average.
You can't even say that.
Heavy
that's the
Cope
best
thinking
of the
BDO
best
lore is
because
hype.
he supposedly has the best.
Yeah.
MMO genre. Like,
Hold on,
again,
just in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I got a tongue grab.
King storyline is the best story.
I think
they're
the way they do it, like the presentation of it, is just not that great.
And I'm like, holy shit, that's gripping. It makes me want to play the
Okay,
game.
well,
I wish it was a little bit more interactive. I haven't done the new like revamped quest line though.
Back when it was like
when you first start the
actual
game.
thing live, but now it's
So I don't know if that's any better,
garbage.
but
Blizzard is sold out and their content over the last 15
like the
years
Land of the
is
Morning
not
Light.
really WoW anymore.
Where am I going?
But like, my point is, if we're talking about
The story
storyline,
content.
Oh gosh,
The story
agree for myself.
Are all the storylines for all of
Agreed.
Black Desert Online are just
Oh, that's right, because the butcher's up.
Like,
I
here's
agree
the
it's
deal.
not its strongest point, but they've been working on it. They've been doing better, right?
No one cares.
Like-
It's okay. No one gives a shit about the story anyway. It's fine. As far as the gameplay goes, you look at the dungeons. I'll be honest with you. I do some of the dungeons in Hardcore Classic WoW that are like 18 years old, 17 years old. Still better than BDO, any of BDO's.
I watch
dungeons.
Verdict BDO lore videos on Odalita. Pretty cool. Just zero presentation. Yes.
I don't understand
Pretty much,
What it is
yep.
About like this need to have like these open world
I feel like-
dungeons, right, and stuff.
I feel like
I
the
don't know,
story
because
and the
we go into
world
these
could be
things so long,
really
we think, oh,
good.
we all have to do the
Like, I
same
feel like they
thing,
have a
we all
good
have to do it correctly,
concept.
like, that's fun.
It's
But the
just they just
BDO
don't
dungeons
present it
that
very
I'm not
well.
super excited necessarily for the fourth one is like, I don't know. I don't really.
But I
feel
think
like
it could
they
be
have
a
to
really
work
cool
together
like
my
lore
teammates
and
the
story.
previous dungeons. It's not like Boss Blitz. If it was like the Guild Boss Blitz, I think is the first time that they really nailed group content in BDO, where it's like, okay, you have to work together for a common goal. Everyone must do their job, or you're basically resetting, right? It's really challenging, and there's really good rewards at the end. The dungeon, it's just not there. You can basically just, no one really has to do the mechanics. You can basically just sail straight through it. Like, it's even on day one, I bet people just sail straight through the fourth dungeon. I will almost guarantee people just, maybe you have to like learn like one or two mechanics, but they're just going to out DPS the dungeon. Because there's no way they can make it
Are you trolling?
hard enough. No.
Are you
I'm just being
trolling?
serious. Like, name
How
bro,
long do you think it took people to do the dungeon number 2 when it came out?
It was well, no, dungeon number 2 was conquered within 24 hours of the dungeon's release.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
By which
remember
They kind
one
of screwed up with the players spamming R for 10 years, then giving us a super boring story for LOM, in my opinion. I agree.
Korea had it first, right?
Uh-huh.
So it had to be Korea.
It was
Like-
Korea,
like,
but
this
they
is
had
the
a
sad
2 week head
thing.
start, or 1 week head
Like,
start,
I
and then
actually,
World War was
Everyone
at the
else
time.
oddly
got
enough,
it. Everyone
enjoyed
watched
Land of the
all
Morning Light,
partners
like
do
when
it.
it first released, like the
And I
whole
think that
questing.
MVP
And we didn't beat
I think
it
this
for
is
like
actually
almost
really
a week,
good.
I'm pretty sure.
No.
For some reason, I don't know why. Maybe because, like you said, we've been so deconditioned to the whole spamming the R and like no story at all. So like I feel like Land of the Morning Light Part 1 was like kind of just different, a little bit more cutscenes.
The hard version.
Uh,
I was gonna say I was world first for the first version.
But
The hard version
when Part 2 came out,
was beat
I just
by
could not get into it.
a month and a half after it came out.
Could
I
not
think
get
was
into it,
Rose's group was the first ones to actually do it.
especially because I think
That was really
And then,
hard.
yeah.
Everyone had to work
at that
together.
point I was trying out New World,
Really challenging, fun content.
like the
But like I
re-released
said,
of New
again,
World.
I don't really think
And
it's gonna be all
that
that
actually
difficult.
felt really
I think it'll be
good.
hype, it'll be
Like the
fun, but,
questing
like,
felt really
I
good.
think that it's gonna be just like the other three.
The
where I just can't get
cinematics felt really
uh,
good. The
again,
dialogue felt really good.
We're gonna see.
Like I was
did,
super
See about
impressed.
that.
Let's look over at the rewards a little bit. The rewards in the ball. T10 Horus thoughts. T10 Horus and Deck 2 Vala with 10,000 crown stones with 3,000 coffer stones for new players. Thoughts? Do you think it's a step too far? Do you think it's fine? We'll start with Jay because he doesn't want to say anything.
Well, I don't watch any Marvel movies, so I was like, oh, let's let them debate about that. But I mean, it's like T10 10-year anniversary, 10,000 crons. I think they just
Oh, I
did
love
that
it.
for the
I love it.
Like lines up with that.
I got to
thought
get my
it was
grind
a
on
good
so you can
reward compared
be
to previous
good, be my good luck again.
previous ones.
Hey, I
Definitely
got you,
costs us a
bro.
lot, right? That's like 30
Last time you got like
with
2
stuff like,
bonds or
you know,
something like that.
T10 is, I think
Ridiculous.
on average people tap it.
Are you grinding
60 to 70
hologram
billion
base
worth
again?
of materials to tap it. If we were considering the
In an
prices back
hour?
then for like Myth of Feathers, how they were much harder to acquire back then, the amount of time spent. And so I thought it was like the biggest reward so far.
Yeah, long
I
over
was
for a bit still. Gotcha,
disappointed
gotcha.
with what we got in terms of
Yeah,
rewards
it's
because
just
like the
isn't for
hammers,
me.
full
I'd rather
taps
watch a
on
lore
them,
summary if I really
hammers at,
care.
absolutely
Yeah, it's so
solid.
true.
I didn't get anything with my hammers again as usual. But yeah,
So true.
overall,
I agree.
disappointed with the
Well,
rewards.
do you think that it's like new? Come on, Jay. New players.
Yeah, what?
Do you think that new
new
players,
players.
like they're giving away another Pen Black Star, right? They're giving away the deck Karazhan, 3,000
Give out a
Crown
lot.
Stones, all of this stuff. New players are coming out of seasonal with the equivalent of like 620 gear score off the bat with the
We're talking
ability to
about
get to
catch-up mechanics.
650.
Okay.
Yeah, with the ability to get to 650, 670 in about
Mhm.
2 weeks,
Well,
I would
here's
say.
the thing. So I'm sure most people can agree that most like MMO RPGs, like okay, so BDO's been out for like 10 years, right? So this game has so many systems, you know, the free pen black stars, the you know guaranteed enhancement systems, and now the introduction of you know the deck 2 Vala weapons. So I feel like right, it's like the goalpost is like constantly being moved, right? It's you know, there's some veteran players that feel like
Sure.
the catch up mechanics kind of like diminish their efforts, right? Like I mean, I got my pen black stars, I got my mythical T10. Like it took me like
You know,
60
I
60
cannot.
attempts to get my first one. This was no
Gosh,
fail
60
stacks. It was
attempts for
flat 3%
T10.
chance,
That's
and it was like you
crazy.
know weekly time gated stuff, right? And you know it definitely feels like
That's
it's
why I
rewarding
never
to
even
go
tried
and
it.
get something that was much harder to acquire, but at the same time okay, it lowers the barrier of entry, it makes the content much more accessible overall, and then you know especially if you don't have much time to dedicate, there's like a lot more players getting into the game, and
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like more people playing BDO
what
is
do you
because they
average
have to
trash
rely on these
wise
like you know catch up
at
mechanics
Holingham
and free
base?
stuff just to get more people into the game. But at the same time,
Like I
even
feel like I
with these
cannot get
catch up mechanics
past
and
like
their power
26,
creeping
27k.
the goalpost forward, right? Now we have sovereign weapons with you
And
know
that's like
the
with
deck,
Secession
accessories on the deck.
Zerker,
Now we have pre-owned accessories on
Awakening
the deck. Now these materials for these items
Dosa,
and
Warrior.
you know they made it continuously relevant, right? We can melt down those like pen accessories for like the SSD
31k,
cards
but
or
that's with
whatnot.
Agris
We can
on
melt down
Awakening
this item
Dosa.
or that
Okay, so
extra rare item for
if you
materials
didn't
or
use
just
Agris,
more
like where do you
of
think
the
you would
next
be at?
final upgrade. So I think that even though we're getting a lot of these catch-up mechanics, they are moving the goalpost forward so that we can still continually have things
Level
to
2
do.
loot
So
scroll.
you know, I don't
Yeah, like I don't know, like I just
do think
don't
that they are handing
like
out
I need to
these
use
mechanics
Agris, but I
so
never
that we
do.
can get started because getting from 0 to
I guess because
pen
I'm
black
just
star
so like
is very
in my
much a new
mind, like
player, right?
my
There's
1 hour
so many
grind
systems,
videos. I'm
still
just
getting
like I
used
can't
to
use
it, and so
Agris.
yeah, I'm with them on giving away free stuff, even though I'm a veteran player, and even though I think that you know
27,
if I was back
28k.
then, like if I just waited, right, it would have been much easier. I
Okay,
still
so we're
think
about
it's
the
nice to see
same
that they
ish.
are making older systems much easier to get nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, like I would say that normally Black Desert does an exceptional job of making sure that your progress long
It's not the
term
best, but
is
it's better than
appreciated
capping.
and
Yeah, I
used,
agree.
right? I would say that that fell off a cliff with Karazhan overall, and so now I feel like a new player can reach my gear score in a month, like no problem. Playing the game 7 years. And so like I've kind of just like I don't know.
It's a good thing though, right?
As a not necessarily as a veteran.
It doesn't
player, I'm
bother
just
me at
like, well,
all.
why don't I just wait with the new players and just keep getting free stuff? Like I don't know.
I think it's so
I'm
important to
seeing,
get
like,
the
it's
newer
important, but it's
players
like,
Good thing
more into
that
the game.
normal people can
no,
catch
hold
up.
on. No. I think it's fine, but like it also, I think there's a part of this that's like they've devalued a lot of the work that a lot of people did forever
Well, that's
ago.
like the
And
nature
so
of MMOs,
from a veteran
though.
player for a new player standpoint, amazing. Now
Like
you're catching up really quickly.
go play other
From a veteran
MMOs.
player standpoint,
It's even
why don't I
worse.
just sit here and AFK fish and wait for them to just give me another Ben Blackstar? You know, like okay, like
Like literally every other
I
MMO,
can
it's
see being
like
completely demotivated.
okay, new
For a
expansion
lot of
comes
players
out,
just to be like, well,
and then your
fishing
gear
makes,
is
like, a
completely
really
irrelevant
slower
after
day,
that.
and They keep handing away all this free stuff via events and stuff. So like, why don't I just like wait?
Why
like
don't need
everybody
new
else?
players? They need gear.
And
Yeah.
Then I don't have to work, and I'll just keep getting gear handed to me for free. You know. All right, Blonde, go
But
ahead.
do you think
Me's a
that's
gearlit
for
veteran
me,
having a
that
blast
is
with BDO.
it's like, so the viewpoint.
Yo,
me
what
is
up, what
that
up?
I got my pen Black Star back in like the start of 2020, and then they gave away a free one in 2024. So I got those 4 years to spend with my Black Star. Same thing with my T10. I got my
Hey,
T10
Gyrian's
at the
roughing.
end of
Is rough,
2021, and we got a free T10
But I also feel like
later.
gears
So
just
I got-
doesn't
so
mean
I
as
kinda,
much
like, value
anymore
the time that
anyway.
I've been
So
able to utilize all of that extra stuff, if that makes sense. So that's kind of like, that's why I'm okay with them just giving away, like, after like a couple years.
T10 was
now
kind of
them giving away
surprising, but the
for free
game
and
progression has
stuff,
been the
because
best
I
it's
got
been
to,
ever in the
like,
last
have
year.
the fun with it, if that makes sense. Like, I value the fun that I've had and the time that I've had with my pen Black
Yeah, I
Star
agree.
before they gave
Yeah,
it
I think
away,
it really
or
has
my
been really
T10 before
good.
they gave it away. So that's where
And
I'm
I think
kinda
it's,
viewing it
you know,
from.
especially with the new
That's
accessories,
why it's okay for me, at
you know,
least.
all the new like
Yeah, I mean,
weapons
you guys are pretty far
accessories.
ahead, so you're just really concerned about
I feel
it.
like
And
it's
I don't even
warranted
care. I don't really care that all
to
three
get these
players
newer
are just trying to
players
go
kind of a little
both
bit
ways. Like that's
easier into the game,
sure.
because it's
The
just so
biggest problem, I think,
daunting
is that
to
at the
like look at the
ball,
whole
there was a moment where they
like gear
just
progression
leveled,
path, and it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta get
everything
all
was done
this, gotta get all that. But now some of that's just kind of taken away for you.
you?
Okay,
Oh,
Wan Yu.
Wansu?
Yeah,
Wansu?
Wansu.
And there's, I mean, there's still
Wansu.
so
They
much
call
you
him
have to do
YJ.
in order to get
So there
gear.
was a point at the ball where YJ sat there and he had like this moment with the PvP community, which was who he really needed to talk to, I think, at this ball to try to bring them back. And he was like, yeah, we're gonna move toward more of a PvP endgame focus again. Like, he literally admitted, like, okay, yeah, I think that we've overstepped here and we need to move back to kind of our roots on this one. And so they said that they were going to make changes and that they were planning all these changes. And then they showed absolutely nothing. And I said at the ball, I said, man, I think that was a great speech. I think it bought them about 2 months of goodwill. I think that people log in, they get a bunch of the rewards, they get hyped about the game and stuff.
Speech was so
But I think
awkward.
if they don't start delivering on a lot of the changes that they promised at the ball with regards to PvP, that the game just falls right back to where it was, and we're right back to square one again on this one. And like, I understand that neither of you PvPs, so you're probably not going to see it from that perspective. I think that they delivered on Deadeye, which in my opinion has been, I love Deadeye. She's like my favorite class that they've come out with in years. Like I've been absolutely loving it. I even rolled the weapons off of my witch to my Dark Knight, and retired the witch. No, I moved into the Dark Knight and then tagged the Deadeye. And the reason I did that is because I do feel like that PvP is dead. And so like, there's no real reason to have the Awakening Witch anymore. The reason that I had the Awakening Witch in the first place is to shot call, to lead, and to set the example, right? Because you could heal, you can support, you can PA, all of those things, which has a purpose in large scale, especially as a shot caller. It's one of the better shot calling classes in the game, and that's why I picked up the witch in the first place. Well, that purpose is now gone, and like, even though at the ball they were like, yeah, we're gonna make all these strides, we have heard literally nothing since the ball happened about a month ago now, almost a month exactly ago now, and like, again, they've made changes. They came out with Deadeye. We had the big life skilling patch, right? And all this stuff. But like, they said that the hardcore servers are going to come out this month, and I don't feel like the hardcore servers are going to be.
You know, we haven't heard
Node Wars and Siege
anything really about the hardcore servers.
Actually,
Actually,
the hardcore servers could pop
weird
off
enough.
if they bring back Node Wars and Siege to like the communities. But like, again, they said that they were going to bring these Node Wars changes, and they were working on Siege changes, and they were working on changing how open world works and all this stuff. Nothing. We've heard nothing. It's been radio silence, and like, that is not a good thing. I will say, for what it's worth, they changed the expansion that we were getting, because in order to focus more on
PvP.
They went from Mountain of Eternal Winter Part 2, because they announced at the previous ball that Mountain of Eternal Winter Part 2 was going to be the next expansion in the Black Desert universe. Okay. Then at this ball, it's, by the way, we're getting the Demon Zone. And the way
I remember PA giving you a date for the hardcore server. Yeah, I sworn they said like mid-January or sometime in January.
They're actually showing, right? There was no trailer. There were like static images, right? That means that
But I
development
can't-
literally only just started. There
I
is
can't
no
actually
way-
tell you if
there-
that's true
we
or
get
not.
that
I
expansion
felt like
maybe
they
in
said
December of this
January.
year. Like it might be as late as December of 2025. We're gonna get that, and I don't think that we can wait that long. For
But who
the
knows?
changes in the game.
Maybe I'm just starting to get dementia.
But I think that the hype from the ball is starting to decline a little bit now, and I think that the player base was doing well for a second. Everyone was like,
I think that was
"Oh,
AOS restart."
Everyone's having a great time.
Yeah, I remember them saying
We're
AOS.
hitting this like second month
Yeah.
release here.
Maybe they didn't give a
Start
date.
wearing off, and like all of these changes that they brought, it's been patch after patch after patch of like banger after banger after banger. You're getting Deadeye, then you go into they gave us one other set of stuff I'm forgetting, but then they gave us the life skilling patch on this most recent patch, and it's been great. But you can see that the numbers on Steam are already starting to head back downhill here, which is a little bit concerning to turn back around this quickly, especially when I felt like they did a lot of good at the ball to buy themselves some time here. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? Jay, I'll start with you.
I mean, I think it's kind of like a natural thing for, the ball happens, like any ball happens, huddle ball, Calphion ball.
I feel like it's
players
so
come
hard.
back, get their free stuff. have
Like
fun
in
with the
PA's
game, feel
defense, I feel like it's so
offensive.
hard.
I just feel like it's natural that the hype dies down after. At the same
Where
time,
am I
when it
going?
comes to like content
I feel like-
releases, I view the
What am I
balls
trying to say?
as, hey, this is what we're working on the next.
So hard to
6
grind
months,
and
so,
talk at the same time. But
obviously we haven't gotten
and like in
how long
PA's
has it been
defense, I feel like
since
it's so
the
hard
summer-
to
the ball
continue to
finished
make
months ago?
consistent
Literally,
content
Exactly.
on a regular
it's been
basis.
It's been exactly a month. And so
Uh,
I view like the things they're talking about in
And I mean, I feel like
ball,
like
again, it's
every
happening for
every
the next
week
6
they're
months,
doing
and then
something,
Saddle
right?
Ball, and then Huddle Balls
It's not like
content is
they're
happening over the
not
next
doing
6
anything at
months.
all.
And so I just view it as like that sort of like like the hill slope graph or whatever that Calphion Ball. It's like it rises
But-
on players and then just goes down until Huddle Ball comes and then it goes up and then it goes down.
Okay, but
So
Jay,
I mean,
question.
yeah.
So last year we were sitting at an average player base. Like now we're peaking at where last year we were averaging, right? So like that's not super great, right? Like if you look back at the ball from the previous year, we peaked a lot higher, or our average player base was reaching higher levels.
had so many
last
butchers
year
this-
than it is
this
year.
hour.
And
Kind of
now,
crazy.
again, we're headed back downhill again. I actually felt like the game was headed in a really positive direction, and I still do. Like it's really solid, but like again, what was this big speech about? Like, bro, they literally stopped for like half an hour and talked to the PvP player base and said that they were going to turn a bunch of stuff around, and there's been not a single lick of that in the patch notes. We haven't seen anything on the global.
I
app.
really
We
hope
have
they
not heard anything about
remove
it.
those
I
protections.
expect hardcore servers to come out next global lab patch, but like even then, even if we get hardcore servers, there's no PvPers playing the game right now. Like you've got to bring them back to the game.
Yeah, I'm
sure
on
that
track to
hardcore
make
servers
like
necessarily do
29K
that job.
trash.
I don't know. Blonde, I think
This
you
is what I'm
did
talking
a
about.
solid job, or sorry, Jay, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like, I mean, I feel like every week we've been getting something new, right? Like,
Yeah.
we've been getting,
Yeah, just like what Jay
Deadeye
was
and,
saying.
like the life skill changes, and now Voltarian's coming out next week, and so it's been only 4 weeks, and then we still got like 5 more months probably until the next Huddle Balls. So I kind of feel like because we haven't seen anything from the PvP, they're just rolling out like staggering.
Didn't the only thing
staggering
PA changed about
content. Maybe there
PvP is
is
one-sided
PvP
deck
stuff
and
we just
karma.
don't know, but they're just going.
Yeah,
prioritizing
so that
stuff
was
that PvP
definitely
stuff
like
probably.
the first
That's
steps,
kind of like the benefit of the doubt that I'm giving.
but they also changed Node
For
Wars too.
hardcore PvP servers,
So they kind of fundamentally changed how Node Wars were done.
Well,
Before we move on
real
to
quick,
And a
we
lot
have,
of the
in
player
chat, there's always
base,
some Coper, in the chat that does this. Why don't you
didn't
ever
or
consider
currently
the
still doesn't
launch
like the
player
new
kind
Node
of
War
thing?
changes,
There's
which they
those
did
people, there's a lot of
give
people that play on the
like the
launch.
option now.
And these are,
Like
again,
if you
players
win
that don't understand how graphs work.
the territory, then you can choose the old way or the new way.
That Steam and Black Desert, I'd say they're about half and half. I've done many polls on this. I would say about half the people have it downloaded on Steam, and then other half of the people have it downloaded on the launcher. A lot of the old launcher players don't play anymore anyway, or didn't transition their account over from Perlibus when Perlibus took over like 3 years ago.
I mean, I
What you're looking
play
at on this graph is not necessarily the exact
on
number,
the old
because it's the
launcher.
trend on the graph, right? The trend on the graph for the last year has been down, 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 down.
They changed back,
Ball,
yeah.
which is really good.
No, they
Literally
didn't
the
necessarily
ball,
change the
everyone's
Node
really
Wars
excited,
back.
everyone logs in,
Essentially, they
and
gave the
that's
option.
pretty useful, and I'll be honest
So
with
if you
you,
win the
it's really
territory,
really
then
good
you can
and
either
very
do the
promising for the game.
new
Again, I think that,
Node
like,
Wars or
again,
the old
we're
Node Wars.
starting to
And I'll
decline.
be honest, I'm not sure
Again,
how the
from that
community
hype and as
I'm assuming the community is picking the old Node Wars, whoever wins the territory. But you could also get some guilds that just will troll the server. So
at the ball. I really do. I think that BDO could be put in a position where it was better than it was before this huge decline that we saw like over a year ago now.
But yeah, the Node War changes, and then the one-sided deck and Karma changes were kind of the big aspects.
I don't know. I'm looking at my watch, and I'm like,
I never really did Node Wars, so Node Wars wasn't that big of an issue. But I really liked open world PvP.
I'm sweating a little bit. So Blonde, what do
And
you
the deck system,
Okay, so I got some
like the massive,
because I didn't get to answer the last topic question, so I'm just gonna run through my notes and get
like having like
some
massive guild battles,
So
just
the
an open
question
world.
about new
It just feels
player
like it's, you know, it makes the world a lot more
Oh, yeah,
live.
we don't get to talk about that either. Go ahead.
It's okay. I wrote it all down. I got a lot to say. I think that when it comes to handouts and giveaways, I think that the player progression for the Tuvala stuff turning into like Karazad stuff, I think that's a nice way to make players not have to go from Tuvala into boss gear back into the new boss gear. I think streamlining that is great. I think it's fantastic. I think that
AOS is really fun.
Black
Yes,
Shark,
I agree.
that they gave away the last ball, whatnot.
And they're
I thought
actually
that was
making
okay
it
because had been 4 years,
viable
like
now.
Jay said it was, they came out in like 2019, 2020.
You can actually make
2020,
silver
so they got
playing
out
this
during
game
the
mode now.
Summer Ball or whatever was the
Like, I don't know if you saw the recent
Winners'
Global
Balls,
Lab
it was about 4
patches,
years for the gap for it to come out.
but
That's fine. 4 years of a gap, plenty of
massive
time to have gotten it. It's a good
buffs
mechanic.
with
I think
rewards
that
for
getting that
AOS.
T10, when the T10s have only been out for a handful of years and they only recently lifted
Yeah.
the pities and stuff, I'm not gonna lie, I think that it's
Nah,
cool when they
brah.
give you a sensor,
Nah,
'cause that
brah.
stuff is hard to make, so that's just nice because everybody
Keep
gets
giving
an
me
attempt.
free
I think that
T10s.
handing out a full free T10, I think they thought that was going to be similar to when they gave out the T9 and everybody freaked out and everybody was like so excited. And I think I just think that was the wrong choice.
Nope.
I don't mind
Perfect choice.
giving, and this is my opinion, right? I don't like free handouts. That's
Like, I'll never do a
T10 is
T10.
something you want to sort of earn by getting the you roll the dice and you get it, right?
It's a cosmetic though, right? It doesn't help for your gear. It's that you can't really count it necessarily as a catch-up mechanic. I agree with you, Blonde. To be clear, I like it's a cosmetic, so like I feel like you devalue it, right?
Yes, when it comes to things like, for example, if they give out a new Verkant outfit, I mean, even the fact that during the events they sell the Orzeka leaves at the vendor when you could just go grind Olins, I feel like that's also kind of cheap shotting. It's like, at what point are we going to be able to sell like the new Verkant armor from a vendor so no one ever has to go do Blood Moon or Blood Storm Nuver? You could just buy it from a vendor. I feel like those kind of things, although they can be cool, I think it should not.
You
be
trade the
something
AOS
that's
seal
catch
for
mechanic, because
gold
the whole
bar.
point of
It's only
those
15
games
mil.
are to
It's about 15 mil for a lost match.
I don't mind if they hand out sensors. Attempts,
Yeah,
fine,
yeah.
whatever.
So that was the
Again, I
before.
think giving out a whole horse basically puts a
So
stop to
they've
really
changed it
helping
now.
people that weren't going for it and just got a free
So
win.
now when you
Like,
lose a
I think
match,
the people that clicked it a bunch of times and worked really hard for their horses also
2
feel
dimes, by
really
the
sour
way,
about that. I personally
or
think
2
that was
dims. Wait,
a
really?
step in the wrong direction just on that specific.
You're so RNG.
Agree.
Next point. You talked about the
Uh,
PvP.
But now if you lose a match, you're looking at around 110 million ish. And if you win a match, you're looking at around 175 million. Like, it's actually really good.
PvP. The way that I interpreted it was that they were like, hey, we know you guys had some fun times. We know PvP was
I remember my
good,
first
the good
Peggy
old
felt like
days,
30 times or something way back
getting
when I
tense
told
up,
myself
and that
never
was
again.
cool.
Exactly. Yeah, screw that.
And that was
No,
it. They
I'll
just said
pass.
It was cool, and they liked that players liked that.
And like with
I didn't
T10, like
think
you're already
it all was an
gated.
interpretation
Like you're
of
time gated for the
PA 's like, yeah,
materials.
we're gonna get this back on track. Because in my opinion, I don't think personally, I don't think any Siege or Noble War changes is making people come back to the game. I think that a lot of the players, like you noted,
I will
the
say,
declining player base and stuff like that, over the last
actually,
year,
with
and then
them
recently
giving
with the
us a
holidays after.
T10, it actually makes me want to
I think
try
that is a
to
function
get
of just
the
players
other
just
T10
kinda being done.
because I already have
Sometimes things
2
happen in a game where
Peggies, a male
they're
and a
not taking this
female.
too far and they're done with the game. They're not gonna come
So
back
now I
even
just
if
need
it
the
fixed every
materials,
issue they have.
which
Maybe
is
some
a
players
headache,
will,
but
I don't think a majority will. And I think that
I guess in a
PvP
couple
direction
years I'll have
just
enough
make
materials to do a
other
couple
side
attempts.
PvP modes for stuff like you mentioned, the hardcore server. I think it shouldn't have been called a hardcore server because it just looks like Shadow Arena 2.0, which I think looks cool. I don't think it's gonna save PvP because you're not gonna have people that look back on the game of like, oh, I remember when I was PvPing and GVGing and we were fighting
you know, and tallying up these scores. Oh, and then the war scores were so cool. I feel like they've buffed and given so much to like these no wars and sieges that like I understand there's other more fundamental core issues and PA just can't seem to latch on to figure that out. But I just don't feel like that's ever going to be like I don't have a friend that PvP'd all the time for years, sieged and everything, telling me, man, I can't wait till they fix this thing in Siege and Node War. I'm really going to come back and it's going to be so fun. Because I feel like a lot of people, once their guild has moved on, once some of the core members have moved on, those people move on. And I think a lot of those people just are playing other games. And they may return in some way, shape, or form because of a piece of content here and there, but I don't think we're going to get the resurging wave. And I think that's why PA is focusing now entirely on how do we get newer players to be interested in the game? How do we get these newer players to like the current modes and things we're going to create, essentially?
I respectfully disagree. I think that it showed. I think that we saw the peak on the Steam charts. I think that it's the opposite of what you said. I think that a lot of these players right here, a lot of these are returning players, not new players. I think that this peak right here represents the amount of players.
I don't know. I feel like I've encountered a bunch of new players,
to put it in my terms,
especially after releasing my most recent video.
It represents the hope left, even in players that left the community over the last year or so.
It's so hard to tell though.
Following the game, it shows how many people are still following the game, how many people are willing to come back if they were to make like fix and make the game and give these fun changes to the game, right? Whether they like PvP, whether they like life skilling, or they
I feel like
reasons or progression reasons or what have you.
At a certain point, like you know what BDO is. It's this right here, grinding, and you either like it or you don't.
Back to the game, and you can see that that is an extremely healthy audience. And what I'm concerned about is those players, like Jay said, they get hyped about the ball and then they quit over time. And yes, that can be a natural progression for some players, but I think that BDO as a game is typically really, really good at maintaining its players over time. Do you see peaks around new content releases? Sure. But they're basically trying to release new content pretty consistently over time. If you look at the all for the graph, it's much different. This graph looks way different than a graph like New World, where like, yeah, if I go to New World.
Well, looks like Ohio ended up winning.
That you see, it's peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys around major expansion releases. In New Worlds, it's peaks, it's hills and valleys. But like you can see expansion release, expansion release, expansion release, right? But like Lost Ark can kind of Lost Ark.
Boo, Ohio. I know, right?
For its players, but they have
I was hoping Notre Dame was going to win.
It's kind of like Path of Exile, even though it's not necessarily an MMO. Destiny 2 is not necessarily an MMO, but World of Warcraft is a great example. Huge peak around the big expansion release, and then it drops off really hard. BDO is a lot different than that. Sure, you see a peak, right?
Hey, though, Notre Dame was coming back.
A remarkable job of retaining players over time. And my question here is, how many players are we going to retain? Or are we actually going to go, is this going to be just like a massive peak and then we just go right back to where we were, right?
I understand.
I know a guy who is an Ohio fan. He's going to be insufferable all week now.
PvP, people returning,
that type of guy, huh?
Players returning in general. I am like
he's gonna be rolling in with like an Ohio jacket, Ohio hat, smirk face.
People just logging in to get their P10, to get
oh gosh,
to get their
love it.
The 20 million free things that came out with the ball. I think that's players seeing that. I think it's maybe a handful of people seeing that you can now AFK fish for like 4 billion silver on like some 49 alt.
Hey, did you see that one play?
Thinking it's like people returning. It's like Star Wars Episode 5, A Brand New Hope, or something like that.
Yes, Bill, I saw the play. Calm down.
I understand why you think that.
I think it's both, Blind. I think it's people that are following the game that will absolutely quit.
I don't think so.
I think that they will absolutely quit. I mean, they would keep playing if they brought it. If they brought.
There's going to be a variation of players for sure. I totally get that. I just don't buy into the merit of like. I had, I guess, a lot of friends in a lot of PvP guilds and communities because I was in that for a hot minute, and I just don't feel that. I'm in like 10 or 15 different, which were all majorly active PvP guilds, GVGing and doing stuff all the time, all dead, and none of those members returning. They've all migrated into many guilds, and all that stuff has fallen apart, and I just don't feel people coming in and being like, oh man, this is going to be and maybe in some of the circles you see that and you're feeling that, and maybe the community speaks out to you in a certain type of way. I just, in the many circles I'm in, I am just not seeing or feeling that vibe, and it maybe there's the people that I'm around are like old school and they're just kind of done. They've kind of rotated, but I just
I think
I don't feel that vibe.
I don't know. We'll ask Jay here, but again, I think it's veteran and returning players.
Wait,
coming
I got
back
a
to the
duo.
game,
I got a
whether they're
duo
excited about
Tungrad
Deadeye or
necklace
they're excited
drop,
about,
and I didn't even notice
the
that.
game. And I think that they
No
absolutely
way,
have the
dude.
opportunity to stick with the game
I am
for at least a few
carried.
months,
Are you
not just a
kidding me right
few
now?
weeks, as long as they deliver.
How did I not even
on
notice I got a
lot of
duo
performances.
drop?
A lot of the PvPers probably did log in, at least just to get the
That's
rewards. The
hilarious.
reason mentally that they are logging in is not to play the game. They're logging in to get the rewards because they know there's a chance that they might come back to the game if they fix it. Right, so they log in, they get the rewards, everything goes good, and they don't intend on playing it necessarily long term. But if they did fix the game, well, at least we got the rewards and we can stay on track.
So if you give me some more bonds, I know, right? I think your RNG is passing off to me now.
Pause because I have 3 more bullet points to catch
Okay.
up.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
so
Sorry. Yeah. Jay, shut up.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're good.
I get you and I agree with you. I think that there's a lot of players that are like that. There's a lot of players that are going to log in every 6 months for those big rewards and put them in. Your next point that I wrote down was that you talked about the winter zone announced as the next zone. I'd like to see where it was quoted that. I know that they
Only happens on your stream?
Balls,
That's
they've
so
been
crazy.
Obviously hinting and teasing at both the winter 2.0 region and also the new Ali Hadoum region, whatever, north of Valencia. I feel like they've been
Gosh, I've been so
mentioning both of
busy
those, so I feel like it's very weird
this past
to
week.
say that they definitely announced winter region first, because I feel like maybe they did have a year.
Haven't really been able to stream very much.
Around. But I don't feel like that was ever set hard in stone. Just like right
They
now,
didn't
they
talk
announced the
about it.
Demon Zone and talked about 4 or 5
Oh,
regions
Butcher.
in that specific zone, but they're not giving a timetable. They're not saying anything particular.
big
They're just trying to
problem.
catch the vibe.
What
of
drought are you using?
all those 4 different regions and the mechanics that they want to design and see if players are.
I'm just using
interested in things.
Frenzy
Talk
Drought.
about it, talk about it on the
I mean,
forum and stuff.
Frenzy
I
Corrupt.
just don't feel so. And I mean, maybe I could be wrong, because I mean,
Nothing crazy.
it's been 6 months to a year plus. I don't think that that winter region was the next one announced, but like I said, I could be wrong.
You're going over here just chilling by yourself.
Because
That's what
I
they said
agree.
at the last ball. Did they say I could have sworn that they said the hunt.
I see you don't use a perfume.
Stood up. I'm fairly certain. I thought
Yeah, I mean, with my gear score,
soaking it in.
I probably
And
would
I'm
just
pretty
be
sure
like
that
wasting
they
money
literally said the next expansion that they're
if I used a
looking at, 'cause they showed,
perfume.
like the next 10-year roadmap.
Because that's like what, 90 million
He said the next expansion that we're working on imminently is this 100-floor dungeon with
ish.
with the Mountain of Eternal Winter Part 2, and then they said it was going to be the Demon Land.
And I really don't think it'd help me that much more.
Like the Black Desert Rewind back in time, primordial.
Right. These are like
thing.
teasers for the far future, right?
Right.
That's at least that's how I interpreted, right?
But like we
Now,
saw like
I
the
mean,
Disney Demon Land photo and stuff.
If they promise like yeah, I love that. I think if they
Crazy.
promised a particular save date, or like, hey, this is definitely coming out December this year or something like that, I agree. I would feel the same way of like, wow, you guys said that was coming out and this was coming out, but now you've changed it. I think that the interpretation when you're watching these hype fests and looking at like, oh
Yeah, because I think if we like,
we are gonna have the 100-floor dungeon, we are gonna have some stuff. That's cool, but also we're working on this Demon Land that's got a bunch of stuff. And I think that like, I think it's okay for them to be like, we know a lot of people want this PvP and this PvP focused sort of stuff. I'm not necessarily too miffed about them saying, you know what, Winter Region and 100.
mate, you're like one of the veterans who have a healthy relationship with BDO.
You defeat a demon commander in the zone.
Yeah, I just kind of take it at my own pace.
With no karma loss. I feel like this is like that.
Like I'm not one to be like super min max. I'm just one average dude, just chilling, doing my own thing. Like even though I've been playing this game at 2016, like I am like far from being like the best of the best. So I just have fun with it. Enjoy what it is. Have fun as much as I can.
Which the 100-floor dungeon would obviously be. So we got to pick one lane or the other. In my opinion, I feel like they gotta, but I don't necessarily mind them unless they've again promised a specific date. I don't mind if they change it. If
I got a force furry.
Players that are all right now outcrying that they want XYZ content.
I only min max because I'm lazy and willing to do maybe 80% of it.
Against the player interest, it's literally feeding into the player interest personally. So I may be wrong on if they quoted it was specifically going to be the next specific region, or I agree.
Doesn't that like contradict your statement though? Because you're lazy, but you still min max. Min max is like takes more effort.
That's literally built into the new area. And I think that's okay. I think that's like literally kind of not maybe listening directly to the players, but it's vibing off of the players' sentiment.
Let me ask you, Blonde. were you excited when you heard that the Demon Land was going to have lordships and all of these things where you could compete with each other like that? Jay, was
Yeah.
that exciting for you too? Like, I'm curious, were you guys are PvE lords most of the time.
Nah, you
But, like,
execute
you would do
efficiently,
PvE
so when you
fun,
fall short, you're
right?
still
People-
mid.
You're great
Yeah,
examples of people that you're not necessarily against PvP, but you're not
True,
gonna
true.
you're not gonna go out of your way to do it unless it looks like it's a lot of fun. So Blonde, does it look like something you would do?
I mean, it's not an option, right? If you're grinding in the zone and they own the region, then you're gonna have to fight them regardless.
But are you gonna grind in that region? Or would you grind somewhere where that was
Oh,
the
I
rule?
am 100% grinding in this new region.
Okay,
without
so
a
it
doubt.
is exciting for you. Good.
Yes,
That's a
I
good
am.
thing. Yes, that's
I mean,
good.
Yeah, we
the
probably won't
whole
get the new
vibe of the area
region
is cool. The
until, like,
concept of you claiming the land and then no Carmelot
what,
PvP
July?
everywhere, I think is one of the. It just kind of takes essentially what was like these guild deck systems and then putting it into the design of the world. I think that's a huge W. I think across the board, it's like. I think it's awesome. I think it's a cool concept. You don't
got
have to
another
grind
forest
there through
furry.
5
What
other
the heck?
regions. You can fight any other guild, or you can be the guild that claims that territory and then fight there. I think it's super cool. I think it hits, like, in my opinion, the nail on the head where I've been saying that they need to sort of incentivize new players who aren't part of this old scene of GVGs, Guild Wars, the node sieges, like people that are new to the game, maybe PvEing a little bit, and then dipping their toes back into PvP centrism of like, here, this is going to have some open world PvP, but the reward is worth the risk. Like, here you go. I think that's a huge thing, in my opinion. I think it's right.
I mean, so Jay, is it exciting
Yes,
for you?
hi.
Yeah, there it
Not
is.
because it's a new region, but is it exciting for you? Like, would you grind somewhere where someone could just come PvP you for free without a penalty because they're the lord of the land?
You know, I've never really been a very competitive person, so I've never really had fun open world PvPing. I'm not sure how the exact mechanics will happen until we, finally see it. They kind of just touched on like how it would work. Like it's just like is it like one lord per like the 5 regions, or is it like one lord for the entire 5 regions of that continent or whatever, or place? And so like if it's just one person being the lord out of the region, I mean, how I'm like picturing like realistically, oh, maybe I'm grinding during the I don't know, the degen hours like most people do at BDO, right? Like how often are they going to be around to PvP me? And I kind of feel like most people nowadays don't really like mess with each other unless, they're looking for that PvP.
Well, now I feel like it's
For me in PvP,
it's seen as
still,
like
I feel
a
the most fun I had was simply
inappropriate,
using RBF or Battle
toxic
Arena,
behavior.
on Discord, like shit talking each other and stuff like that. So
Even
I
like
do appreciate
arena
it.
or even the
It's
Archer
been,
server,
it's been
people are
fun
like
for me, and it's not really
still
like
being
anymore.
somewhat
I do
righteous.
focus on the PvE aspect of the game. So I'm just like wondering, like I feel like I can't give my final judge of
It's
the
so crazy.
region
Back in the
release
day, it used to be like everyone used to be toxic.
until it finally comes out.
He wants
And
the
that's the
deets.
problem,
He wants to know
yeah.
how this guy's gonna grief me, so I can
Yeah.
figure out. Okay, do I run a DP build, or am I gonna go grind in the corner spot where no one's gonna see me behind the wall? Or
That's what I'm thinking.
listen,
Is
I too, but
Grind
I'm
in the
the
corner.
sentiment itself. I
Shining
think
this
is what's
shit.
exciting for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the problem though, and you guys are old enough players to know, how far along they are in development based on what they show you, right? If they show you like big trailers and they explain the lore and stuff a lot, they know that it's right around the corner. But if they don't,
I really
do
got
that,
killed
they just
before the
show you
PvP
screenshots,
change.
there's a good chance
No,
that
I
it's actually
agree.
fine.
I think
Like,
Yeah,
there's
I don't think it's coming until the end of the year.
I never had it. Like
If
I
anything,
never
it's
had
coming
an
at the end of the
issue
year.
of being
That
griefed.
soon, for sure.
Like ever since I
But I
played the
also say
game.
if- well, I understand you think that's a problem. I think it's a good thing
Best
that they like, took the
viewers?
time to work on it
What?
to make sure it actually maybe functions good or functions in a way. I think our main next 6 months
Dude, you're
of
messing up my hour.
content
How do
or
I?
whatever for PvP centric people is going to be the PvP server thing, the hardcore.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
they're like, hey, here's this. That'll settle you over.
Lucky
until
I'm
we
in
figure
this
out how
mid
to,
grind.
whatever our PvP speech was. If we're going to do any updates based on that, this is what we're going to push out.
Anyway.
a lot of players are.
But yeah.
We just had the Divios and Choice talk with them, and that's what led to that 30
Yeah.
speech. And now that's
Yeah, I never really had any issue of being griefed or like being like super toxic or anything like that. And if it was, I would always just change servers. Like it never really bothered me.
I feel like it's cooking. I think it's cooking right now.
Actually, speaking of the speech, we were.
And I think too, like when the
I
Marnie
feel like- I was gonna say that
realms
maybe
came
that
out, that
speech,
also like really
I think it was Wanted
decreased
specifically,
that
it
as
was a
well.
big I feel like they were kind of saying that like how I was interpreting it was that they made a lot of mistakes in the past, right? Especially with the PvP community. And
But the negative with the Marnie
I
realm is
saw
just
that as them
I
saying,
felt like
hey, like
it's made the world a little bit
what's
more
his face,
empty.
and all we can do is like look forward. So here's what we're working on. We're trying to encourage people to PvP with the
Right.
new hardcore server that they're adding,
Right.
with the Edania region with the PvP mechanic. So that's kind of like what I interpreted from that speech, and I feel like BDO is in a very different place than it is now, right? In 2024, but
I'd say
from what it
pre-orc
was 10
era
years
in
ago to
Elvia, I
that,
PvP'd a lot from my spot, but hardly
5-6
ever
years ago,
after.
and
Yeah.
that was like the PvP was
Well, and that's the thing too. Like I would always
really
get like duel for
firmly in the
spot,
spotlight, and I
but
don't
like I
think
never had anyone
BDO
like come and
compared
like
to that anymore
grief me per
nowadays,
se. It was
just
always like
because
duel for
the
spot, which is
version,
fine.
right? The patch of BDO that we have now is just so different than what it was.
But yeah, I
before,
agree.
and
Like
now
after
just
like
trying
the
to look
orc
forward and
aspect,
really
and
push
maybe
the
that's when they
community
started to
now.
add in
So
the
that's kind of
Marnie
what
realm too.
That's the vibe I got.
about how that speech was. Yeah.
I think no, I think that they are reverting. I think that they said, okay, we messed up. Again, I think that speech was like, all right, yeah, we had good intentions, but we understand that we destroyed a large fabric of what our game is supposed to be at the end game, and that upset the vast majority of our player base. And here are the steps. Like, here's what we're about to do about that. Basically, or we're taking steps to kind of move back to the environment that you had before, as much as we can create it, because it's not like we can't replicate it perfectly, but like
No.
we can try to take steps to kind of move back towards that direction. That's what I got out of that speech.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. Either way, let's talk about Deadeye a little bit, because we haven't talked about my new favorite class at all.
I'm sorry. Pause. I got one more
go
bullet point.
Yeah, go.
Your last question was, did BDO buy time for the next update? I think they did. I think that I think they did. I think that the PvP, like I just said, the hardcore server is going to be like the main staple for a hot minute. It's going to be the new, hot, fresh, maybe some cool rewards with it, and then from there we're going to get maybe near the summer update ball. We're going to get some stuff leading up to that, and then maybe a big update on that, and then I think that's when they're going to maybe dip into the PvP thing, if that's what they're going to be doing. I think they did buy time for players in a sense. Yeah.
I said 2
Sorry,
months.
that was the last note.
I think they buy 2 months before we start to see it fall back off a cliff again is the problem. But we'll see.
I mean, but that's okay. BDO, and this is something I've said in the past. I don't think BDO should be a game where you feel like you're logging in for the whole year. I think it's okay to be like, okay, I played BDO for a month or two, I burn out, and then I want to go play PoE season. Okay, now I go log in back to BDO, grind for a thing. Okay, now I'm gonna go grind in like another seasonal event, or Marvel Rivals just came out, I'm gonna play that. I agree that like us hardcore players want to play it every day. We want to make it our main game. We want to do that a ton. I think for your average player, I'm not against totally a player being like, yeah, I'll play a little bit and then I'll play something else and I'll play a little bit and I'll play something else.
I don't know. I think that BDO is a game that remarkably, yes, you do play it all year, but it's how actively you're playing it that matters. But it's not until you stop playing BDO that you uninstall the game. The first like 2 or 3 days that you're like, yeah, I just didn't log into AFK Fish, then you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna uninstall this shit.
I've never uninstalled BDO though.
I think that there's like versus
never uninstalled
like
it.
Liberty, whereas like you stop playing, like you're playing actively, and then you just quit it all. There could be a week, and then you don't log in at all, and then you log back.
I installed Throwing Liberty in like 2 weeks.
BDO is a game that encourages you to log in every single day because they want you to do AFK activities, especially with AFK fishing now. If you're not logging in for that,
yeah, I still don't.
How much you've really let go of the game, and a lot of people just uninstall in that case.
I still don't. I mean, I don't do AFK fishing. I tried it, but I don't know. I'm just not a person to leave my PC on all the time.
PA rather has made the game something you want to like consistently log in. You don't want to try and play anything else. You got to AFK fish. You got to do this. You got to do that. But I think it's okay for people to sort of take breaks or not consistently play it, because the cool thing about BDO, unlike any other MMO, is like in World of Warcraft every 3 months.
New expansion, all irrelevant.
It's all gone. It's irrelevant. You're gonna do a dungeon that gives you blue gear that's better than everything, right? I think that sucks, and that's a sucky feeling, in my opinion. And I think that BDO, I grinded for that Pen Black Star. I didn't get a free Pen Black Star later until 4 years later they handed out a free one, right? Like I think that's. You don't see any other MMO being like, yeah, we don't have any new gear upgrades for your main hand till 4 years later. But that's also because the style of game rewards that gameplay of like, okay, I'm going to play a lot, I'm going to grind a lot, I'm going to get a lot of money. So my main point is that I feel like they've made so many systems easier. They've made the catch-up mechanics easier. They've made it so you
Yep.
don't have to play as much.
Blonde
You want to play a
is
lot because it's fun. But
very
it's
on
okay
point.
not to feel like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm only playing this, because I feel like that was a lot of player sentiment. Is like they feel like they have to play it so much, and now it's like, hey, we've kind of listened how much you get to play. You can kind of do whatever. You don't have to hardcore play all the time. And now players are like, I want them to make me want to play it 24 hours a day, and it's like, okay, we don't have to do that. It can be a healthy balance. And
You know, combat
I
on
think it's
console is
just
kind of
like the
good
gamer
besides the
mindset
silly
of, like,
target
just
lock.
like, no, I have to play this game. This is the
Yeah,
only game
you know,
playing
I did
for,
try it out
but I
with
don't think
the
it's a
controller,
healthy
and it did
environment,
actually
in
feel
my
pretty
opinion.
good.
I've never been like, yeah, BDO is the only game. Like there were large swaths of time.
I wonder how
where I was like,
BDO
is the
feels on a
only game
controller.
that I want to play.
Have you ever played BDO on a
BDO is
controller?
the only game that I want to play, but like I wouldn't say that's it
Or
was
wait,
unhealthy. I would say it's just I
or
wasn't
oh wait,
motivated
do you
to play
play
those games
do you
because I
play
was really
BDO on
invested in
console?
BDO.
Am I going crazy?
There's been a lot of times where I'm just
You might have
like,
told me
I
this
wanna put
before.
BDO down, but like I would always log in and do
Again,
like my
regard my
stuff.
dementia.
But
I'm
like
sorry.
again, I think that the moment that you're just like, yeah, it's not even worth logging in anymore. That's when you're just like, all right, I'm quitting this game altogether. And I think that a lot of the players are kind of in this stage where like
No, I only play
they
PC. Okay,
logged out, they've
Glad.
uninstalled the game.
I'm glad.
They were still following what's going on with the game on social media because like the game is good enough that if they fixed it, they would come back like right away. And like again, the ball showed them like, okay, that's pretty promising, and the rewards are good.
I used to
enough.
not
We
like
have a
Blonde
pretty
Bear's
strong
opinion, but he's
rewards.
been pretty
And,
base
like,
these days.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say, like, play it
yeah, I really like
actively
Blonde
per
Bear.
se.
He's pretty
A decent
chill.
amount of them will stay in AFK fish,
I feel like he
but,
makes some good
like,
points.
If they fix the game, absolutely, I'll come back. But if not, well, then I got the rewards, and it's on to Path of Exile, or it's on to a Monster Hunter Wilds when that comes out, or whatever the next game is. Like, I think that BDO again is a game that has incredible retention rate. But as long as Jay, you don't have anything to add to that, I did want to talk about Deadeye for a good amount here, because I do think that, well, I mean, we touched on it a little bit earlier. Go ahead.
Totally forgot Jay was even in there.
Oh, I was just gonna small.
Jay like never
just
talks.
Add a little bit about how, like everything that you guys were talking about. I mean, I feel like
28 maids still not
Sandbox,
enough.
I was just like my mind was like thinking.
Wait,
Like focusing on
28
the
maids?
Sandbox MMO,
What are you
simple,
trying to
I
put
think
in
the
your
Sandbox
storage?
MMO, you can do whatever you want and progress in however you want. And I feel like BDO kind of hits the nail on that with, we have systems in the game where you can progress in many different ways. Maybe
The
not
trash?
necessarily
Oh.
as viable as others. Such as, like trading and whatnot nowadays, but they are making strides.
Sorry,
to
I
make
no, not you.
systems a lot more appealing to do, especially.
No, not you. The Jay that's currently talking. Sorry.
Now they've like significantly buffed it, and I feel like fishing is like one of the best life skills to keep players retained, and I feel like that's what I feel like they kind of
UJ. Okay, J38935550. You are totally fine.
Sandbox MMO,
I'm talking about Jay
I feel like
Kuhn.
they did a good job of staying within that sort of.
That was perfect.
I think World of Warcraft. What's it described as? It's like a roller coaster, or like you're on a ride.
Theme park.
There's a specific
Theme park MMO.
It's a
Where you
theme-
only
theme
go
park
when the new
MMO.
ride comes out.
Mhm.
Skinny
And so
Jay.
That's
Skinny
like what I
Jay.
was comparing
not
the
sure
two
that's what
with
theme
whenever you
park
guys were
MMO
talking about
means.
World of Warcraft and
Yeah, that's what theme park MMOs are like. You're waiting for the next attraction to come out. Every 3 to 4 years they come out with a new attraction. You go because you haven't been
What's-
there in years, and you go play the.
Oh,
new
there's a
attraction.
butcher.
That's what that means.
New J is YJ.
You know that's what that means.
Usually theme park was like, okay, they're guiding you, like they're holding your hand, they're telling you exactly what they want to do. You stay on the path. Was my understanding with theme park, you stay on the roller coaster, like that you have to.
No.
Your hour ran out. Yeah.
Like,
No, I don't.
Let's see what we got.
I
versus
get what you're
Sandbox, where you
saying.
can just go off and do whatever you want.
I get what you're saying, but I don't think so.
Okay,
Bro,
I can
that's
see
my
from your
best
point.
hour.
That being said, okay, Jay, great point. Love that. Deadeye. Okay, thoughts on this? I'm
Deadeye,
playing this.
yeah.
I'm playing.
All right, let me pause this for a second. Yeah, I walked into that one. Yeah, it was actually that was perfect. That was perfect. Hey, at least you're listening. Anyway, also, wait, why are you putting the trash with your maids? Why don't you just stack it with the horse? I feel like this was a really good hour. I know I had 125 of those. I have to, but it's less efficient. Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot efficiency. How many maids do I have? 13. Also more work. Yeah, I get that. So yeah, I made at least 700 million in trash. This is definitely my best hour ever. And actually, I probably could have pulled at least 29. Yeah, this was really good. Wow. $28 half free over the years. I know. Yeah, we've gotten so many maids. Honestly, though, I feel like the past 6 months they really haven't given us that many free stuff. Must say I was not expecting that amount of trash on the Zerker. Yeah. I, I mean, I figured it was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be this good right off the bat. I mean, that's not bad at all. I mean, with my Awakening Striker, Warrior, Awakening Dosa, like I've always averaged like 22, 24. Hard reroll win. I'm not gonna. I was kind of thinking about it, to be honest. Like reroll all my weapons to Zerker, and then tagging like a wizard, like an Awakening wizard, or maybe I'll tag my warrior again. Oh, it's about to be juicy. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Look at that. We got 5 costumes already bought. This will be number 6. Just got to get this to pin. I'm going to get this to pin, and then I'm going to save up and buy a Black Star sub weapon. I can't believe I got a duo Tungrad necklace drop. That's crazy. Have the price for mana accessories gone up? I don't know. Yep, they've definitely gone up. Yeah, because they've been sitting at like the 4 to 5 range. Yep. Uh,
playing the crap out of this. She's from Texas. You're basically playing a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader with a gun. Do you think it should have been male?
Dallas Cow.
Jay?
The good.
I mean, I
That was a
don't
good
really,
one.
care whether it's like male or female. I know some people do, but for me personally, I don't. It's all about the aesthetic.
Should have been a male.
For me in terms of play
Should have been a
style.
male.
For me,
Let's be honest.
Magic has always been my appeal when it comes to classes. I did give it a try. I did tag her for the week that she did come out, and you know her performance is pretty good in PvE. I never really tried her in PvP because I'm not really much of a PvP player. But I do
Not
personally
much
find
PvP.
her playstyle a little bit on the faster side for me. But at the same time, I do prefer slower paced classes like Awakening Witch, Wusa, Dosa. Those classes are much more like comfortable for me in terms of playstyle. The movement also, like it was like throwing me off whenever she's like, you know, swinging, right? And you can't really like spam a dash like other classes. Maybe I'm just spoiled with like Witch and Wusa and Dosa, where you could, you know, mostly spam a dash. You know, in terms of aesthetics, like, you know, very Western American influence. It's giving like Indiana Jones vibes with the rope swing, the pistols.
Well, he just got
pistol
deleted.
handling, like that instantly reminded me of, you know, Lara Croft, right? A very iconic you know, character in video game industry. She has that high noon ability from Cassidy in Overwatch. The shotgun with the explosive rounds is exactly what Ash had and
High
also
noon
in
is McCree.
Overwatch, right?
My name is McCree. Okay, don't ever.
I've been sitting on
Oh,
10
oh,
try
you're
Manos since I heard that the price was changed, so hopefully I will see some
care.
profit
Yeah,
since
I
I'm on
don't
the
care.
console.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Dang,
like
10
literally
try
like-
Manos. Wait, did you buy those?
Right, all right,
Yes,
Like, did you buy them and like, are you trying to resell
For
them?
rocket launcher, that was, I feel like not many people were expecting a rocket launcher to be introduced in BDO, but here we are, right? Like her,
Just crazy.
and then
yeah.
in terms of her playstyle, she feels like very melee, right? Her pistols and shotguns.
Dude, look at those
actually feel
eyes.
Very melee with her, and then the rocket launcher.
Those
you have
eyes are on a
massive,
whole
like,
nother
triple
level.
gear
Wow.
pulses. So I think she'll be very popular with any classes, any players who prefer a faster placed playstyle. Oh, one thing I did hear comments about a lot whenever Deadeye first came out. And we were discussing this with my chat about how
How did I miss that?
Lore feel forced into BDO in the world, and I can definitely see, like,
Did this person like resist?
Okay, I kind of like
Come
my
here.
brain was like speculating, right? So I do think maybe there was an intention behind it besides, you know, Jade quote unquote changing, right? So there's 29 BD classes
Oh, I
in BD,
know.
right? There's a lot, right?
Come here,
And
come
then
here. Where'd you
there's
go?
Awakening and Succession for a lot of them. So we could kind of say
What
there's
happened?
like 50 plus classes if you consider Awakening and Succession to be completely different classes, which some classes are, right? They feel very different. So, and they're probably not stopping anytime soon, right? So I'm thinking in my head, oh, how many more unique different classes can they come up with? So, you know, with this in mind, like she doesn't originate from BDO's
Come on,
world,
come on, come on,
and
come on, come on, come on.
It's from
Oh,
a fictional
so
parallel
close.
universe of America, right? Called New Victoria, and that was established in her lore video that they put out. So I feel like, okay, maybe I'm like stretching, but I feel maybe this is like a big, larger part of a.
I need to figure out how to like, when I miss the grab, I need to like quickly get up.
Parallel dimensions or alternate realities or timelines, so that new classes don't have to originate from BDO, which would give them more flexibility of class and character designs, right? They don't have to just base it off just BDO's lore. They can just go off and do whatever. And again, this is just speculation. We could also just go with the first part of what comments did criticize her about how she feels forced into BDO players because BDO players wanted it. But at the same time, in terms of direction of character design, right? We're getting like 1 to 2 classes per year. That's been fairly consistent, right? 1 to 2 classes per year.
I bought 4 when they were 3.5 bill, and the others I made. Nice.
They did say we were planning for 10 more years of the game. So we can probably expect maybe 10 to 15 new classes. And again, like I feel, at least for me, maybe I'm not just.
Why are there so many people here? I don't know. Usually Battle Arena 1 is usually pretty packed.
And so,
with people just
where I was
chilling.
stretching from with but yeah, anyways, I
here.
digress. But yeah,
Oh.
Deadeye, yeah, in New America
New fun,
class,
yeah.
guns, yeah.
I think it was intentionally
We'll see.
forced. Obviously, it was forced. He said he didn't want to make a gunner class. He didn't feel like it fit in the game. And ironically enough, it was the Korean people that forced it in. But I actually think that
Where'd it
the
go?
logic behind making it a Western cowboy was that the theme of 2024 and the reason that they lost, like something like
Really, you
$15
resisted
million
all of that?
between Q3 of last year and comparing
All
it
right.
to Q3 of this year.
Remove
or
resist.
2023 to 2024 was because the West got really upset with them. and like the West didn't feel like they were accurately represented from a developer standpoint. Like that, we didn't feel like we were listened to. And I think that an underlying reason why they chose to make it an American was to try to say, like, hey,
Appeal to
we're
the Western
definitely
audience.
listening to you for sure. Like it wasn't just like, oh yeah, we're listening to you. It was like,
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
think the
put
grab
Western
radius
culture
is
into our
just
game because like then they'll feel more represented in our game, and then we'll start listening to them. And like this is kind of the first move on the pendulum to try to be like, yeah, we're listening to the player base, we swear, kind of deals. That being said, I'm falling for it hook, line, and sinker in terms of this bitch is hot. No, I do not think it should be a man.
She's spicy.
You're crazy. She is. That bitch has a thong in her first outfit. What are we talking about? Now, granted, a lot of the other outfits are kind of questionable. They're either questionable or
How
dog
does it
shit.
stay up like that?
Yeah, well,
It's like
I
all
don't
the
care.
way up.
Yeah, I don't care. It's her hips physics. That being said, I think that some of the outfits are like super questionable. She's an American. She's got a school outfit on, and she's got guns. That I don't know if we thought this through. That being said, the rest of the outfits are like kind of dog, except for like there's like 4 or 5 outfits that are reasonable, but like because she is kind of a Western motif in an Eastern game, you've got like I don't know. Some of these outfits feel a little bit out of place, so they're going to have a lot of work to do in terms of outfits. But there's a lot that they can do with it anyway because they've shown that they're willing to kind of go outside the box for outfits lately, which is pretty cool. Snowboarding outfit looks pretty badass too lately. But
I was like
as
stuck.
far
What the
as how
heck?
she plays, I love almost all of it. My only 2 gripes, well, like love the rocket launcher, the shotgun. The sounds are like ASMR. Like they're so good. Like the gun sounds, if you sit there and listen to them, are
Sound design,
so
yeah.
well done. Yeah, excellently done. And how like the class feels and like how the recoil on the weapons and stuff feels really powerful.
How do you do
really
the
strong.
hammer dash of
Very, very
Zerker?
well done. My 2 gripes about the class is 1,
Hammer dash? I'm not really sure. Well, what you're talking about? Oh gosh, I completely missed that. Sorry, axe dashing. Let's see. Good fights. Like, you talking about this? The one where he side dashes repeatedly forward? Like this one? Or this one? Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is actually really good for like centaurs. All right. Good. Can grind polys with that plus the WP add-on. Yeah, polys is really good. Poly, centaurs, any of those like lower end grind spots. All right. Well, I am going to hit the sack. Go to bed. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Yay, yay. Thanks for everyone stopping by and hanging out. Hope everyone is having a good week. Hope everyone continues to have a good week. And I will see you at some point. At some point. Night, man. Yo, night, night, real. Good luck with the RNG. Good luck with y'all's grinds.